It's a really pleasure for me to be with you once again, dear viewers of Burundi National TV. It's time for English News Edition on the presentation alongside the I Evariste Nyongulu. Without further delaying, headlines. In the Algerian capital city, a round table on commercial trade exhibition brought together high-ranking officials from various countries of Africa. Burundi was represented by its Prime Minister Nestor Ntahontuye. The Director General of Migration assures that applicants for travel documents that are holders of all required documents for obtaining a passport, whether old or new, are all considered valid. The General Directorate of Migration is also currently working to update administrative entities on its platforms to facilitate online application. These were headlines. Will come now in details. On Friday morning, in the capital city of Algeria, the Burundian Prime Minister, Honorable Nestor Ntahontuye, had an audience with the delegation of investors from Afremix Bank. The delegation was led by Mr. Intong Eric Monvich, Head of Customer Relations. Their discussions focused on potential investment opportunities in Burundi, particularly in support of the country's development projects. In the Algerian capital city, a roundtable on commercial trade exhibition brought together high-ranking officials from various African countries. Burundi was represented by its Prime Minister, the Honorable Nestor Ntahontuye, who extended an invitation to investors to explore opportunities in Burundi. For further story,
various authorities from African countries took part in a round table dedicated to the African Continental Free Trade Area. This meeting aimed to promote the development of this shared economic space across the continent. Burundi was represented by Prime Minister Nestor Ntahontuye. All the day's speakers, including the former President of Niger, the Vice President of the African Union, the President of Algeria, among others, welcomed the holding of this round table. They emphasized the need for African nations to join efforts in boosting key economic sectors, increasing local production, and reaching sufficient export levels. On behalf of the Burundian government, Prime Minister Nestor Ntahontuye expressed satisfaction with the gathering. He stated that Burundi is moving toward peace, stability, and inclusive growth. Burundi is also fully committed to this African integration dynamic. The ambition is clear and is to add value to the products, boost exports, attract investments, and build fair partnership with brothers and sisters across the continent. At the end of the meeting, the Prime Minister, accompanied by the Minister in charge of Trade and Energy, had discussions with the Algerian President.
We keep on our news edition. The Ministry of Interior Affairs, Community Development and Public Security is urging newly appointed communal administrators and the provincial governors to provide proper guidance to zone chiefs in the exercise of their new duties, particularly concerning the issuance of administrative documents which until now were issued by communal administrators. The Director General of Migration assures applicants for travel documents that all holders of the required documents for obtaining a passport, whether old or new, are all considered valid. The General Director of Migration is also currently working to update administrative entities on its platforms to facilitate online applications. For the full story is our colleague Jackson Irakoze once again.
To apply for a travel document include a complete identity certificate, a residence certificate, and a birth certificate, and others. All are issued by local administrative authorities. In the context of the new administrative division which resulted in the remaining of territorial entities, the Commissioner General of Migration reassures citizens wishing to obtain travel documents, especially passports. According to him, documents issued under the old administrative system remain valid just like those issued under the new structure. He noted that they receive applicants with documents from both systems. For them, this poses no problem. while waiting for local administrative structures at the level of provinces, communes or heroes to adapt to the new names. He informed that they continue to accept all the required documents, address of their virgin, he added. Moreover, the General Commission for Migration is currently working to integrate the new names of administrative entities into its platform in order to comply with the country's recently adopted territorial reorganization.
Now let's move in the education sector. The start of the 2025-2026 school year is set to begin September 15, and the admission threshold for the School of Excellence has been established at 70%. This was announced by the Minister of National Education and Scientific Research, Francois Habyarimana, in a statement delivered in this Thursday in Muyinga. Minister Habyarimana called upon students who obtained marks qualifying them for boarding schools or highly sought-after public schools in Bujumbura to consult the orientation rates available at the Provincial Directorates of Education, DPE in the French acronym, starting this Friday in Bujumbura and on Saturday in the country's interior provinces. He also announced that the upcoming opening of the 2 additional boarding schools, the Merikionda Technical High School in Nyabihanga and the Al Maktoum High School in Rumonge. Around 82,589 students took part in the national examination for grade 9, an exam that grants them access to boost basic education. The passing mark for entry into schools of excellence is set at 70% and 35% for public schools. Citizens who have built or deposited construction materials in public spaces are now urged to remove them within a period not exceeding 1 week. This call was made by Alfred Inosa Muselemo, Permanent Secretary of the National Security Council, during a field visit this Friday alongside the administrator of Mukaza Commune to several public sites, notably in Sororezo, Jabe Market, and Kamisa. He also called on local administrators to serve as the eyes and ears of their superiors in order to prevent any threats to the security of the population. Details. The Mutanga neighborhood, specifically in Isoro Rezo within the Nyakabiga zone, some residents have occupied state-owned land. Among them, some have already built fences, while others have deposited sand, stones, and other construction materials along the commonly known Avenue La Détente, thereby obstructing traffic flow. At the Jabe Market, certain traders have erected structures without complying with the established regulations, which could hinder emergency response efforts in the event of a fire. The administrator of Mukaza Commune, Arine Bigimana, called on citizens to maintain deadlines in public spaces to prevent the spread of epidemic diseases. She gave a deadline of no more than 1 week to those who failed to comply with the regulations to remove construction materials placed in the streets. The Permanent Secretary of the National Security Council, Alfred Inosa Muselemo, stated that this operation aims to raise awareness among the population and implement the country's vision to become an emerging nation by 2040 and a developed one by 2060. He emphasized that every citizen has a role to play in achieving this vision. He also urged members of joint security committees to work day and night to sustainably strengthen human security. And this Friday, Disaster Chronicle will revisit the floods that have been threatening Katumba Zone and the Kajaga neighborhood, both located in the Bujumbura province for several years. A number of infrastructures, both public and private, are among those affected by these floods, which are caused by the rising waters of the Rusizi River and Lake Tanganyika. For full story, it's Jackson Irakoze always.
Even though it is currently the dry season, the Gatumba area in Bujumbura province remains flooded. Some neighborhoods in this zone have been overtaken by the waters of the Rusizi River, coupled with the rising level of Lake Tanganyika. These neighborhoods include Mushasha 1 and Mushasha 2, which we visited. Most of the infrastructure, both public and private, is already submerged. In the few schools still operating, access is not easy. as one must cross using wooden footbridges. This is the case for Karitasi Global School in Gatumba. At Gatumba High School, another public institution we visited, the situation appears to have improved as water levels have receded. The acting headmaster expressed satisfaction with the current state of affairs, though he emphasized that given the intensity of flooding, it is not something one can manage alone. Fortunately, the authorities are aware of the situation. Regarding the recurrent flooding in the Gatumba, the school lacks the means to deal with it independently. As a preventive measure, schools that are at risk of becoming inaccessible are fenced off before the waters reach them. For instance, the local commune assists where possible. It has already supported schools by building retaining walls to slow the water's advance. Another area affected by flooding is Kajaga. Neighborhoods in this locality have gradually turned into streams. To move from one space to another, some residents must now use canoes, paying transportation fees. These canoes operate throughout the day, navigating the waterways that have formed near Kinyinya 2 Primary School and the Kajaga Communal High School. Given the current situation in these areas, already so heavily impacted during the dry season, one can't help but wonder how the inhabitants will cope once the rainy season arrives.
Oh, great. It's with the DC Chronicle just we conclude our today's edition. We really thank you for being with us. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.